TUNA OTB. You're in the tuna can. Once again, out here in Hollywood. I got my mic. I got my coffee. Venti shaken espresso. It's just straight espresso. I hope y'all are doing good. You know, this video is going to be fairly short, hopefully. I'm basically just going to go over how I make my drums sound the way they do and, you know, go over the chain of plugins and whatnot. This is one of my favorite beats that I've made. I just think it's really bouncy and it's got great drums in it. So I'm just going to play it with, you know, everything on it, and you'll hear, and then I'll kind of go back and turn some things off, and we'll start from there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. So yeah, it's pretty cool bouncy vibe. You know, I could hear a little YG action on there. I could hear a little, you know, definitely some Cali vibes. I'm getting some Cali vibes. Some Denzel Curry might even sound kind of cool. I don't know. He bodies everything. Let's go over why the drums sound the way they do. And I got, you know, a couple open hi-hats. You know, we got some snare action, some perks. The drums change up a lot in this song, or this beat. Not too drastically, but, you know, there's different, like, sections for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything that I have on here. And I'm just going to play. Right? Not too crazy of a difference, but definitely chunkier. I'm going to use like a little loop here too. Actually, let's do that works right there. Okay. So first of all, we're going to do, I just do a simple, you know, low cut just to clear up this low end for the bass. This varies depending on the sounds I'm using. So as you can see, like, most of what I'm using isn't even utilizing this low frequency range. So we just kind of cut that out. Pretty simple, straightforward. Then we got a stock Logic compressor on the FET live drum setting, which you can find down here in the drums portion. And I turn that minus 12 dB on, and I turn the mix back a fairly good amount, just because it does affect. It does affect the loudness quite a bit, and it gives it a little bit more of a crunch. And then the next thing I do is I put sample delay on, and again, want to make sure left and right are the same. It just kind of depends. I just fiddle around until I find something that I like. I don't really go past 150, 160. That's just like that's a very subtle. It just kind of widens things out a tiny bit. And then we got the H compressor by Waves, this first Waves plugin on here so far, and that is on the drums heavy preset, which is right here, number 5. And then again, I have that turned, we can turn the punch up a little bit. I turn the mix down a lot. Just because you don't want it to be like too squeezed. You don't want the compression to squeeze it too much, because then it sounds kind of flat. And then after that, we have the Ssl Channel by Waves. Pretty, pretty standard. And again, these parameters and these EQ knobs we will adjust depending on what song we're working on. Just giving it a little more character, I find, in the high frequencies, and I don't know, it's just giving it a little bit more perceived loudness. Especially on those hi-hats, it's really bringing, if you can boost a little bit of this high end up here, then you're going to find a lot more brightness in your mixes. Next up, we are moving on to the Decapitator by Soundtoys. And this is what's really giving the drums a lot of character. And a lot of people use this plugin on their drums to give it that crunch, to give it that distorted feeling. Again, I have it turned down fairly low, and I have the drive fairly low, but you saw when I turned this up and I put it a little bit like less on the dark side and more kind of towards the middle around here. The middle is going to give you a little brightness and a little bit of dark crunch, and we're going to tuck that. Got the thump button on as well, and the punish button. And the low cut I have, cutting out kind of the similar frequencies we cut out in the EQ, except a little bit more, just so this is really only affecting, what we want, and that is that higher end crunch. And after that, the last thing I do on this channel strip is put the radiator on, the little radiator, just because I don't need the full radiator for this purpose, because I'm really just adding a little warmth to the mix of the drums. And on this, I have set heat is on halfway, and the mix is turned down pretty low. These buttons are turned off. again, it's just like kind of livening up things to me. Like without all these on here, the drums sound very stock, very boring, very straight ahead, you know, predictable sounding. I also find like without these plugins on here, the drums get a little like low-endy. I don't know, like the crunch and the high metallic-y portion of them isn't really cutting through, which is why we're doing this, to give the drums a little bit more crunch, which is how I like my drums. I mean, I make hip-hop trap beats, so the drums are going to be, you know, fairly crunchy. You know, you can go for clean stuff, but, you know, basically what I'd just be ending up doing is dialing back some of these plugins, but I would still put them on there if I was going for a more clean drum sound. You know, maybe I won't compress as much, or I won't put the Decapitator on, or you know what I mean. But these are all very lightly doing stuff, and together they create a super cool, you know, effect for your drums and mix. This is such a subtle detail, right? Like most rappers or artists won't be like, I love what you did to that 808, you know, like they might be like, this beat's hard, or like the bass goes hard in this beat, right? But they're not going to be like, they're not really going to know exactly like what you did to make it sound like that. So like I try to, you know, like people hear things and they like them or they don't like them. They don't have to know what it is. You know, I like it because I know exactly what I did to make it sound like that. And like, I'm a producer, so I'm like obsessed with this kind of crap, right? But like when you're pitching beats to people, if you know the mix is not like satisfying for you, it's probably not going to be that great for another person. And if they like or don't like the beat, it's mostly going to be based on, you know, is the beat good? Is it catchy? Is it easy to rap on? It's not going to have anything to do with the mix. But if you have a good beat and the mix is move on to the next one, bro. Like, people feel it in their body when something sounds good. They're not going to feel it with their ears. Does that make sense? Like, you pull up a beat and the rapper's like, nah, this one, they only heard like 5 seconds of it, but it sounds really clean. Maybe the bass is hitting right in that perfect area in the mix. It's making them feel a certain way that makes them want to rap. And yes, the melody's got to be good, the beat's got to be good, but if the mix is fire, the beat could be the simplest piece of shit beat ever. And they're not even going to know why they like it so much, but it's because it's so clean and easy to listen to and radio ready, you know? Like, we're trying to make stuff that's new and different, and not necessarily in the structure standpoint or the instrument standpoint, but like the mix standpoint. Like, how can we make our mixes sound different but better every time? And that's what I'm like, that's my goal, and that's what I'm trying to do, right? I never went to school for audio engineering, and I'm a drummer at heart. I grew up mixing my drums, miking my drums, you know, mixing live sound, playing in bands, and the whole time, you know, like, I'm training my ear, you know, I'm figuring out, okay, in a live band setting, you know, you're mixing live instruments and you're in a certain room, you know, there's so many variables that you have to take everything into account and make sure that, you know, you can hear everything, and at the same time, everything's sitting sonically in like its place. You know, if there's like a pyramid, you know, like the food pyramid, right? You got the food pyramid, and like down here, you've got kick drums, you know, like maybe subwoofer frequency, bass, and then the one up above that is like, let's say it's like bass, and you know, like toms or drums in general, and then above that you've got your guitar. Not even, actually, you got like vocals in the middle, and then you got guitar, and then you got more guitar, and then you got cymbals, right? And then like, let's say you got piano in the middle in there somewhere, And all those things need to sit in this space, right? And they need to be clear and they need to complement one another so that your mix is full and people aren't like confused on like why they're not feeling it, you know? And I don't know. That's just my take on things. I kind of went off on a rant, but hopefully this video helps y'all. You didn't have to watch the whole thing, but if you did, thank you so much. My name's Tuna. On the beat, bitch. Don't forget it. We're making all kinds of beats, hip hop, trap, R&B, you know, that kind of stuff mostly. Maybe we'll get into some deep house. Maybe we'll get into some folk music. Just kidding. I don't think I could do that. No country either on this channel. Sorry. No country. What day is it? It's fucking Wednesday, okay? It's Wednesday. My birthday is in 11 days on the 31st. So everyone cash at me $10. And that's all I have to say. So have a good one. Have a blessed one. Comments if there's any questions. I'm going to make new videos. Look out for them. Tuna OTB. This is the tuna fucking can. The tuna can is popped open. I'm popping it open. You're asleep. It's 6 a.m. I'm next to you on your bed, and I have a tuna can and a can opener, and I'm opening it right on your ear, just so you can hear it right when you wake up, and you just can smell fresh tuna right when you wake up. Even though I hate tuna, and that is what this podcast/video channel is. Anyway. Cheers.